Welcome to Zukkun Knows Dogs. We call them family. We dress them, name them, and share our homes with them. But what if I told you dogs are human inventions, not just companions, but creatures shaped, remixed, and remade by us? Let's dive into how we turned wild wolves into designer pets and the price we all pay for cuteness. 1. Dogs are not natural. Dogs didn't just evolve into what they are today. They were bred deliberately by humans over thousands of years. From ancient hunters to modern breeders, every stage of a dog's evolution was directed by us. What we call a dog today is closer to a bioengineered companion than a wild animal. 2. Why we started breeding dogs. Early humans needed help, tracking prey, guarding camps, pulling sleds, so they picked the wolves who were least afraid, most loyal, or best at certain tasks. That selection over time led to domesticated dogs. It was utility first. Dogs were tools, useful ones. 3. How selective breeding works. Let's say you want a smaller dog. You breed the smallest ones together. Repeat that for 10 generations and boom, you've invented a new breed. Selective breeding is about amplifying traits, coat length, ear shape, even behavior. It's evolution, on fast forward and with an artist's hand. 4. From function to fashion. But once we had dogs for work, we got greedy. In modern times, dogs became luxury items. People began breeding them for looks, flat faces, tiny bodies, or unique fur patterns. It became less about function and more about aesthetic. 5. When cute becomes cruel. This is where things got dark. Breeds like French bulldogs have such flat faces, they can't breathe properly. Shar Pies suffer from chronic skin infections due to their wrinkles. Dachshunds have spinal problems because we stretch their bodies. We bred them to be adorable and broke them in the process. 6. The rise of purebred. Culture breed standards became like status symbols. A purebred dog was seen as prestigious, like a luxury car. But the more we tightened the gene pool, the more genetic diseases we introduced. Hip dysplasia, blindness, deafness, many are the result of inbreeding. 7. Designer dogs and the mix craze. In recent years, hybrid dogs became the new trend. Labradoodles, Maltipoos, Pomskis. The idea? Combine the best traits of two breeds. The reality? Sometimes you get the worst of both. 8. Health problems we created. We've built dogs with fragile bodies, short noses that cause overheating, overactive immune systems, eyes so large they're prone to injury, and it's all for human taste. 9. The ethical dilemma. Do we have the right to keep doing this? To create life in our image at the cost of its well-being? Dogs didn't ask to be this way, yet we've molded them into living toys, sometimes suffering silently in cute packaging. 10. Summary, a friend engineered. Dogs are loyal, loving, and amazing companions. But let's not forget, they're also engineered. Built by us, for us, shaped by centuries of desire and design. What started as partnership became manipulation. And it's time we ask, what do our dogs truly deserve? We bred dogs to be perfect. But maybe perfection was never the point. Maybe love means letting go of control. Thanks for watching Zukkun Knows. Subscribe for more stories that challenge what you thought you knew. Welcome to Zukkun Knows. We love dogs. Who doesn't? They're loyal, cuddly, and undeniably cute. But let's get real. Many of the breeds we adore didn't evolve on their own. They were crafted, curated, and custom built by us. This is a countdown of the top 10 cutest dogs that humans invented. 1. French Bulldog. The internet's favorite potato. Bred to be small, flat-faced, and bat-eared. Can't breathe properly, can't swim, often born via C-section. Cute? Absolutely. Natural? Not even close. 2. Chihuahua. A personality bigger than its body, selected for its tiny frame and enormous eyes. Shivers constantly due to size and anxiety. Looks like a Disney character, because we made it that way. 3. Dachshund, the original hot dog. Bred to hunt badgers with a long spine and tiny legs. Commonly suffers from back problems and slipped discs. Looks hilarious. Lives with a price. 4. Pug, the snort champion. Flat face for cute appeal at the cost of breathing and eye health. Their curled tails and buggy eyes are all design choices. Basically, they're adorable mutants. 5. Shar-Pei, wrinkly, sleepy, and oddly majestic. The folds are bred for style, but trap moisture and bacteria. Prone to skin infections and fevers. Made to look ancient, but paid in vet bills. 6. Teacup poodle, so tiny it fits in a purse. Selectively bred for maximum smallness. Bones are fragile, organs struggle. Basically a living plush toy with health risks. 7. Pomsky, Pomeranian plus Husky, the perfect Instagram dog. Husky drama with Pomeranian size. Inherits anxiety, energy, and neediness. A genetic coin toss wrapped in fluff. 8. Cavalier King Charles Spaniel, royal in name and heart. Bred for their gentle eyes and lapdog charm. Suffer from heart and brain issues due to extreme inbreeding. Too perfect for their own good. 9. Bulldog, built like a tank, breathes like a straw. Heavy, low, and bred for a stocky look. Prone to overheating, joint pain, and reproduction issues. Designed tough, born delicate. 10. Maltipoo, Maltese plus poodle. Fluffy, hypoallergenic, and endlessly marketable. Mixed for cuteness and Instagram appeal. May inherit dental issues, separation anxiety, or both. Grooming bill, high. Cuteness, higher. We say we love dogs, but the dogs we love most, we built them. Thanks for watching Zukkun Knows. Subscribe for more stories that expose the truth behind the cuteness. Welcome to Zukkun Knows. We share our lives with animals, dogs, cats, cows, pigs. But these creatures didn't always live in our homes, farms, or food chains. We shaped them, molded them. This is the story of domestication, how humans transform wild animals into useful companions and products, and what it cost them along the way. 1. What is domestication? Domestication isn't just taming an animal. It's generations of selective breeding to make a species serve human needs. It changes behavior, appearance, and biology forever. 2. The first domesticated animal. Dogs. Dogs were likely the first to join us, descendants of wolves who hung around human camps. We bred them to be less aggressive, more obedient, and eventually adorable. What started as survival became companionship, and then customization. 3. Cows, engineered for milk, not survival. Cows are gentle giants, bred for one purpose: production. Modern dairy cows are genetic powerhouses, producing milk constantly, but they often suffer from infections, lameness, and short lifespans. Their biology serves us, but fails them. 4. Chickens, from dinosaurs to meat machines. Chickens used to be jungle birds. Now, we've bred them to grow so fast they can barely stand. They're often kept in cages, wings clipped, unable to fly. Living, breathing production units. 5. Pigs, too smart for their own good. Pigs are intelligent, social, and emotional. Yet we confine them in narrow stalls, tail dock them, and breed them for meat yield. They're treated like protein packages, despite being smarter than dogs. 6. Sheep, designed for wool, not wildness. Sheep used to shed their own wool naturally. Now they grow endlessly, depending on humans to shear them. They've lost self-sufficiency, engineered for our textile needs. 7. Cats. Who really got domesticated? Cats are odd. Some say they domesticated us. But even they've changed. Bred for looks, turned into status pets, and fed by design. They keep their mystique, but they're still part of the system. 8. Horses, power, beauty, and control. Horses gave us transportation, warfare, and sport. We bred them for speed, strength, and elegance. But in the process, we also broke their legs and wore out their bodies for entertainment. 9. Silkworms. Luxury at a cost. Silkworms can't survive in the wild. They've been so altered that they exist purely to make silk. They are born, spin, and die for fashion. A creature engineered into an industry. 10. Summary. Domesticated, not liberated. Domestication gave us food, comfort, and power. But it came with a trade-off. Animals lost their wildness, their autonomy, and sometimes their health. We gained control, but at what cost? We turned wild into useful. But usefulness isn't freedom. Thanks for watching Zukkun Knows. Subscribe for more stories that ask what it means to shape the world around us. Welcome to Zukkun Knows. We all know America as the land of freedom, power, and ambition. But it wasn't always a superpower. It began as a fragile collection of colonies. So how did a group of rebels become the United States of America? 1. Life in the colonies. In the early 1700s, 13 British colonies lined the east coast of North America. They were under British rule, paying taxes, following laws, and serving a distant king. But they were growing, economically and culturally, and tensions were building. 2. Why the colonists got angry. The British government imposed taxes without giving the colonists any say in Parliament. The Stamp Act, the Tea Act, the Townshend Acts. It sparked outrage. No taxation without representation became a rallying cry. 3. The Boston Tea Party. In 1773, colonists, disguised as Native Americans, dumped British tea into Boston Harbor. It wasn't just about tea, it was a message. We're done being controlled. 4. Britain strikes back. The British responded with harsh laws called the Intolerable Acts. They closed Boston's port and tightened military control. Instead of silencing the colonies, it united them. 5. The shot heard round the world. In 1775, fighting broke out at Lexington and Concord. It was the beginning of the American Revolutionary War. Ordinary farmers and shopkeepers stood up to the world's greatest military. 6. The Declaration of Independence. On July 4, 1776, the colonies declared independence from Britain. Led by figures like Thomas Jefferson and John Adams, they wrote, "All men are created equal." It was bold, it was dangerous, and it changed the course of history. 7. The War for Independence. The war lasted 8 years. American forces, with help from France, fought a brutal campaign against the British. Victory wasn't guaranteed, but in 1781, they won the decisive Battle of Yorktown. 8. Creating a new nation. Winning the war was just the start. Now they had to build a country from scratch. In 1787, the U.S. Constitution was written, creating a federal system with checks and balances. In 1789, George Washington became the first president. 9. Founding Fathers and their vision. The founders imagined a country based on liberty, democracy, and individual rights. It was revolutionary at the time, a country not built on monarchy, but on ideas. And those ideas would inspire movements across the world. 10. Summary. The birth of a nation. America wasn't born perfect, but it was born powerful, an experiment in freedom and self-governance. From tea protests to battlefield victories, the United States rose from rebellion to republic. It started with a fight for freedom. But whose freedom was it really? Thanks for watching Zukkun Knows. Subscribe to join us next time when we look at the myths behind that freedom. Welcome to Zukkun Knows. Last time we explored how America was born, a revolution built on freedom, equality, and independence. But here's the question, who was that freedom really for? Let's take a closer look at the founding of the United States, not as a fairy tale, but as it actually happened. 1. All men are created equal. Except Thomas Jefferson wrote those words. He was a brilliant writer, a founding father, and the author of the Declaration of Independence. But he also owned hundreds of slaves and kept them until his death. So did George Washington. He was the commander of the Continental Army during the Revolutionary War, and later became the first president of the United States. But he too enslaved people throughout his life, including while in office. The Founding Fathers talked about liberty while denying it to Black people, Native Americans, and women. 2. Slavery was built. In the U.S. Constitution didn't abolish slavery. In fact, it protected it. The 3/5 compromise counted enslaved people as 3/5 of a person for political advantage. Freedom had asterisks from the start. 3. Women had no voice. Women couldn't vote. They couldn't own property in most states. They were legally controlled by fathers and husbands. Equality didn't include half the population. 4. Native Americans were ignored or removed. The founding story skips over the people who already lived on the land. Treaties were made, broken, and ignored. Eventually, removal and genocide replaced diplomacy. Manifest destiny justified the rest. 5. A country of contradictions. How could a nation built on liberty also embrace slavery? The answer, it was complicated. Many founders believed slavery was wrong, but chose unity over justice. They prioritized forming a nation, even if it meant building it on contradictions. 6. Resistance from the start. Not everyone accepted the myth. Enslaved people fought for their freedom. Women demanded education and rights. Native nations resisted colonization. The founding myth was always contested. 7. The Civil War and the Second Founding. Only in the 1860s, nearly a century later, did America abolish slavery. The 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendments reshaped the Constitution. Some historians call it America's second founding, when the country started to mean what it said. 8. Why the myth persists. The cleaner the story, the easier it is to teach. Heroes and freedom sells better than slavery and compromise. But myths shape memory, and forgetting the truth has consequences. 9. The danger of idealizing the past. When we pretend the past was perfect, we blind ourselves to injustice. The founding ideals are worth celebrating, but only if we're honest about their flaws. Truth doesn't cancel patriotism, it strengthens it. 10. Summary, a nation built on contradictions. America's founding was a breakthrough and a betrayal, a dream and a double standard. To understand where we are now, we have to face where we began, not with shame, but with clarity. History isn't holy, it's human. Thanks for watching Zukkun Knows. Subscribe for more stories that challenge the legends we grew up with. Welcome to Zukkun Knows. The United States of America didn't start as a global giant. It was a cluster of 13 colonies, angry, rebellious, and uncertain. So how did it go from that to this? Let's break down the steps that turned America into the center of the world. 1. From colony to country. In 1776, America declared independence from Great Britain. The 13 colonies were British territories that revolted after years of high taxes and lack of political representation. The Revolutionary War, 1775 to 1783, was fought between the colonies and the British Empire, an underdog rebellion against one of the strongest powers of the time. 2. Westward expansion. In 1803, the U.S. purchased a massive amount of land from France, the Louisiana Purchase. This deal doubled the size of the country and gave America control of the Mississippi River. It sparked a belief in manifest destiny, the idea that the U.S. was destined to control the entire continent. Of course, that expansion came at the expense of Native American nations who were displaced, removed, or wiped out. 3. The Civil War and a new beginning. In the 1860s, America nearly collapsed into two countries. The North and South clashed over slavery and state sovereignty. The Civil War, 1861 to 1865, was brutal, but the Union's victory kept the country together and ended slavery. It also set the stage for massive modernization and industrial growth. The industrial boom. After the Civil War, the U.S. entered a period of rapid industrialization. Why? Because it had land, labor, and resources. Coal, oil, steel, rivers, railroads, and millions of immigrants. All of it powered factories, fueled cities, and helped turn America into an economic powerhouse. 5. World War I, first steps abroad. When WWI broke out in 1914, it was mostly a European conflict. Allies, Britain, France, Russia, versus Central Powers, Germany, Austria-Hungary, Ottoman Empire. The US stayed out of it at first, but unrestricted submarine attacks and the Zimmermann Telegram, a German plot to bring Mexico into the war, pushed America to join in 1917. It was the first time the US took a major role on the global stage. 6th World War II, the turning point Frutier, began in 1939. Allies, UK, USSR, China, versus Axis, Nazi Germany, Fascist Italy, Imperial Japan. America stayed neutral until Japan attacked Pearl Harbor in 1941. After that, the US went all in, fighting in Europe and the Pacific, producing weapons and helping defeat fascism. When it was over in 1945, the US was one of the only major countries left undamaged. 7. The Cold War, power without peace. Post-Wamadi Buntin, the US and Soviet Union became rival superpowers. It wasn't a shooting war, it was about ideology. Democracy versus communism. They competed through proxy wars, nuclear arms races, and space exploration. When the USSR collapsed in 1991, America stood alone. It wasn't isolation, it was dominance. The Cold War ended, but US influence grew stronger. 8. Soft power, culture as control. So why does everyone wear jeans, eat fast food, and watch Hollywood movies? Because America mastered cultural influence. The American dream, freedom, individualism, they became global exports. Brands like Coca-Cola, Nike, and Apple weren't just products, they were symbols. This soft power made America feel familiar, even in places it never ruled. 9. The digital age information empire. Why did the US invent the internet? Because of the Cold War. In the 1960s, the Department of Defense created ARPANET, a network that could survive nuclear attack. That grew into the internet we use today. And American tech companies, Google, Facebook, Apple, turned it into a global platform. Control the servers, control the world. 10. Summary: how the world got Americanized. America's rise wasn't clean or fair. It came through revolution, war, innovation, and image. From rebellion to industry, from ideology to algorithms. The US became a blueprint not just for power, but for how to shape the world. It started as a rebellion. Now it's the blueprint. And depending on who you ask, that's either inspiring or terrifying. Thanks for watching Zukkun Knows. Subscribe for more stories that follow the rise and reach of global power. Welcome to Zukkun Knows. For over 160 million years, dinosaurs ruled the Earth. They were big, fast, armored, even feathered. And then suddenly, they were gone. Why? 1. The age of dinosaurs. Dinosaurs weren't just giant lizards. They came in thousands of species: herbivores, carnivores, swimmers, flyers. From the towering T-Rex to the tiny velociraptor, they thrived in every ecosystem. They dominated Earth during the Mesozoic era, a time of warm climates and supercontinents. The sudden end, 66 million years ago. Around 66 million years ago, something catastrophic happened. The fossil record shows a sharp boundary, the KPG boundary, marking a mass extinction event. The KPG boundary, short for Cretaceous-Paleogene boundary, is a thin layer of sediment found all over the world. It contains unusually high levels of iridium, a rare metal usually found in asteroids. That's how scientists knew something from space might have hit Earth, and when it happened. 3. The famous asteroid theory. The most widely accepted theory: a giant asteroid struck Earth near what is now Chicxulub, Mexico. The impact created a crater over 180 kilometers wide and released energy 1 billion times stronger than the Hiroshima bomb. Dust and debris filled the atmosphere, blocking sunlight and triggering a nuclear winter. Plants died, then herbivores, then carnivores. Yes, the Chicxulub crater is real. It's buried under the Yucatan Peninsula in Mexico and was discovered in the 1990s. Scientists confirmed its age and size matched the extinction event perfectly. Using gravity and seismic scans, they mapped the massive crater under layers of rock. 4, but that's not the whole story. At the same time, massive volcanic eruptions were happening in what is now India, called the Deccan Traps. These eruptions lasted thousands of years, releasing carbon dioxide and sulfur into the atmosphere. This may have caused acid rain, global warming, or cooling. Scientists still debate the exact effect. 5. The birds that survived. Not all dinosaurs went extinct. One small group of feathered theropods survived and evolved into what we now call birds. Modern birds are literally living dinosaurs. Their small size, ability to fly, and diverse diets help them adapt in a post-impact world. 6. Why did any life survive? This is the real mystery. Most large animals died out, but some mammals, reptiles, amphibians, and birds made it. Scientists think traits like small body size, burrowing habits, and generalist diets gave some species a survival edge. 7. A cosmic coincidence? Here's where it gets strange. If the asteroid had hit just a few minutes earlier or later, it would have landed in the ocean, not releasing nearly as much dust. In other words, the timing was perfect for maximum destruction. Too perfect. 8. A targeted strike. Some theorists suggest the asteroid impact was too convenient. Could it have been caused by something or someone? While there's zero evidence for alien involvement or secret technology, the precision makes some people wonder. Even some scientists call it cosmically unlucky. 9. Dinosaurs out. Mammals in with dinosaurs gone. Mammals, who had lived in the shadows for millions of years, finally got their chance. They diversified rapidly, leading to primates and eventually us. The end of the dinosaurs wasn't just an extinction, it was a handoff. 10. What if the dinosaurs had lived? Would humans ever have evolved? Would dinosaurs have developed intelligence? We'll never know, but the dinosaurs' fall paved the way for something entirely new. Thanks for watching Zukkun Knows. If you want to know what happened after the dinosaurs, how humans evolved, and what we might become, don't miss part 35. And hey, don't forget to subscribe. New mysteries await. Welcome to Zukkun Knows. Humans didn't just appear one day fully formed. Our story stretches back millions of years through extinction, mutation, and survival. So let's explore how we got here and where we might be going. 1. Where did we come from? About 7 million years ago, our ancestors split from the chimpanzee line. Through fossils and DNA, we've traced a long chain: Australopithecus, Homo habilis, Homo erectus, Homo sapiens. Each step brought bigger brains, better tools, and more cooperation. 2. Why are we the last ones standing? We weren't alone. There were many other human species: Neanderthals, Denisovans, Homo floresiensis. But Homo sapiens were more adaptable, more social, and more innovative. We formed larger groups, shared knowledge, and outlasted the rest. 3. What made us human? Our brains grew, but not just for logic. We developed imagination, empathy, and language. Fire, cooking, and storytelling turned us into something more than animals. Culture became our new evolution. 4. Did evolution stop? Not at all. Evolution never stops. It just changes form. Our jaws are shrinking, our wisdom teeth are disappearing, and our brains may be rewiring due to screen time in digital interaction. We are still evolving, just subtly. 5. Now we're engineering ourselves. We've reached a point where we don't wait for evolution. We create it. Glasses, braces, prosthetics, implants. Tools are becoming part of us. Brain-computer interfaces like Neuralink hint at a future where mind and machine merge. 6. What will future humans look like? In 100,000 years, we may look very different. Bigger eyes for low-light environments, smaller jaws due to processed foods, taller, thinner bodies adapted to space travel, gray skin to block radiation, Or we might look however we want, thanks to genetic editing. 7. Are we still human? Then, that's the real question. If we enhance our minds with AI, upload our consciousness, or design our bodies from scratch, are we still human? Maybe being human isn't a body, it's a way of thinking. 8. Evolution is not over. In fact, it may be accelerating. With climate change, space colonization, and bioengineering, we're entering a new phase, directed evolution. Our next step won't be random, it'll be chosen. 9. The new frontier, beyond biology. We may transcend biology altogether. Digital minds, hive consciousness, post-human entities. It sounds like sci-fi, but research is underway. We might be the last generation of natural humans. 10. So, what comes after us? Whatever comes next may look nothing like us. It might be smarter, faster, more adaptable. But it will still carry the spark of curiosity, the same spark that helped us survive, learn, and dream. Thanks for watching Zukkun Knows. Next time, we'll explore one of our most mind-bending questions yet. What might Earth look like in the far future? Until then, stay curious and don't forget to subscribe. Welcome to Zukkun Knows. We've mastered fire, we've built cities, we've gone to space. But if you think humans have stopped evolving, think again. The most shocking transformation might still be coming, and it may not even look like us anymore. 1. Are we still changing? Most people think human evolution has stopped, but it hasn't. We're still evolving. Our diets, environments, and especially our technology are shaping what comes next, and the future may not look anything like the past. 2. 100 years from now. Tech-assisted humans. Today, we're already using tools to upgrade ourselves. Glasses, implants, prosthetics, brain chips. Humans and technology are fusing. We're not waiting for evolution anymore. We're editing ourselves. 3. 1,000 years from now. Designer bodies' genetic engineering could become normal. Want to be taller, smarter, disease-resistant? Custom babies might be common, but it could also divide humanity. Those who can afford upgrades and those who can't. 4. 10,000 years from now. Adapting to new worlds. Imagine humans living on Mars. Less gravity means longer limbs and weaker muscles. Harsh radiation? Darker, thicker skin. Eyes might grow larger to adjust to dim environments. Evolution won't stop. It will just look different. 5. 100,000 years from now. Still human. By now, humans may have merged with machines, brains linked to the cloud, bodies that don't age. We might not even need faces anymore. What's the point of a smile when your thoughts are transmitted directly? 6. 1 million years later. Evolution restarts? If civilization collapses, natural selection takes over again. Humans could adapt to a post-apocalyptic world. New diets, climates, and diseases would create new versions of us, shaped by survival, not science. 7. The evolutionary fork. Merge or diverge. Earthbound humans, spacefaring humans, digital humans. Different environments create different species. Will we recognize each other or see each other as alien? 8. Will we still recognize ourselves? If someone from today saw a future human, would they say, "That's me"? What makes us human? Our shape or our thoughts? Is a digital brain still a person? 9. Speculative forms. What might we become? Huge eyes, hairless skin, long fingers, massive skulls to house augmented brains, gray, streamlined bodies. Sound weird? Maybe. But evolution doesn't care what looks normal. 10. The final form of humanity? Some believe we'll leave our bodies behind entirely. Consciousness in machines, eternal minds in space. No bones, no blood, just thought. Maybe the final form of humanity isn't human at all. So, when you look in the mirror 100,000 years from now, will you still see a human or something entirely new? Thanks for watching Zukkun Knows. The future is coming, ready or not. Subscribe to stay one step ahead.